Okay, what's up, everybody? My name is Keone, and I'm hosting the Round Block podcast. And we got a couple special guests. So go ahead and introduce your guys' self.
Yeah, my name is Kuulei Pereira Keave Kane. I'm from Panaeva, Waiakia, Hilo, Hawaii.
Aloha T. I am Kalena Holani, and I am from Waiakea Hilo, Hawaii. Thank you for having us,
Yeah,
Oni.
mahalo.
No way. Thank you
Mahalo.
guys for coming. Because I've been bugging you guys about this for.
Oh, shoot, I know. I know.
Eh, no put us out like that.
And I was like, oh, sorry. Because I'm always ohiora, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all over the place.
No, yeah. Which I mean, it's good. You guys are staying busy. And,
Yeah.
you know, I thought you guys, both of you guys, if I could have got you single, I would have got you single. But I've been blessed to have both you guys at the same
Yeah,
place, same time.
you
So I was
know, we
like,
always
let's
out
go.
here. Yeah.
Cool. So as you notice, So Juicy is gone.
I know those guys. Nah, they're just someplace else, right?
Yeah. Well, they're doing trucks now. The
Yeah.
overhead got a little bit too much.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's part of it's the dark side of this pandemic. Like anybody can think whatever they want about, the mortality rate or how infectious it is or how severe it is, whatnot. But the factual thing that we do know is that not a lot of businesses survived. So yeah, I mean, shout out to So Juicy.
Yes,
Usually they're
sure.
at HPM now.
Oh, right on.
So yeah, you guys can still pick up their products and stuff. And I remember you coming on there. They had what was that? A cleanse. Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys were
yeah,
doing
I
a
did some
cleanse.
juicing and I really mahalo the ways that impacted my life. I gotta get in touch with them again because I gotta start that back up.
Mm-hmm.
Their above and beyond was just like, wow, delicioso.
Yeah.
Like I know this is
All
a
pulu.
podcast, so you
All
cannot see, but
pulu.
chef's kiss kind of things. Like, yeah. So I really mahalo them and their ipono. Like they do this thing that is also food for your spirit and food for your soul. Like
Mhm.
the weight of why they're in this like quote unquote business of healthy eating for Hawaii people. Like there's like a master plan kind things like in the works, So I really kako their business.
Mhm.
Also they're part of the community that I grew up in. So yeah, I really huge shout out to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I knew of him before I actually met him too. Yeah, so that was
Uncle
kind of cool.
Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when he moved next door, I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have like mutual friends, but just like how we just met today. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
We have mutual friends and stuff. and
Yeah.
we never really got the chance to hang out and talk story and stuff. So I miss them.
Yeah.
Miss my neighbors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Plus, now like there's the homeless is kind of
Well, it's getting kind of nuts
it's
out
getting
there.
kind of
Yeah, it's
nuts.
kind of nuts.
Man. I
Probably because
hate.
people are shipping their houseless people over here. Like
Yeah.
right on. Because I guess because it's warm all year, yeah.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
literally, like I heard that states literally give them a one-way ticket over here because it's warmer over here. And
Well, I kind of looked into that too.
yeah.
So but they are saying that they have family because that's the kind of the formality with the whole. We're gonna get you a ticket. Go back to. Do you have any family? And of course they're gonna lie.
I know. Like, but I don't know
Free
nobody.
I get cousins in Vegas and stuff. Oh, bro, I act homeless. Go get on a free ticket. Come back, visit.
Oh.
I send you back. They only gotta pay half the trip. Yeah.
I don't believe.
Work the system.
Work
the
them, yeah.
system.
Work them.
But just I hate being that guy because I have to kind of move them out of here too. So I'm just like, hey, it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but at the same time, it's just like it becomes a bigger problem if I don't stop it.
Yeah.
And whether it's mental health or addiction problems or something, look. I've actually had a tenant, but somebody that maintained that little foyer, that section in front of the door with Kwai Chang too. I had him for 3 years.
Wow.
So and he kept cleaning. That's what I didn't really mind. He keep clean. He keep cleaning. Once in a while, I buy him like Starbucks or here's a hot meal or something. But I did appreciate that. He did clean.
Respect.
Respect. He kept his spot clean, and I can't get mad about anything. But that that might even play into stewardship. You know what I mean? And how people come from the mainland. It's one of the topics I always talk to you guys about. And not knowing their role, and I think that's because we're at a weird place right now, yeah, where I've never seen it like this before. I'm a little bit older too, so it's the first time I've seen it and experienced it, where like the law is kind of going. You know what I mean? It's there's a lot. I guess it's discrimination against tourists and stuff, but there's a lot more hostility towards them,
Mhm.
obviously.
Mhm.
And so what are you guys' takes on that? How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that was a lot. Wait, how about what? Like,
About
like hostility
the
against
hostility
like
against
malihini, like visitor
yeah,
people.
yeah. And how
Yeah,
can that? But without even just complaining, we need to if we're going to talk about it, we have to have a solution too. So I'd also like to hear, how can we solve that problem, or how do we?
Yeah, know.
Well, I think looking at the problem first, because there's so much intersections of things, yeah. And we'd like to think it's so black and white, and there's just like one problem to the problem, and then therefore one answer to it. So definitely, there's a bunch of prongs I think that need to be addressed and attacked on multiple levels. But as far as the hostility goes, because it's them, I think the most responsible thing we can always do is like look at ourselves and how can we make a difference in the problem. Yeah. And first off, I think we need to just give ourselves a break for a second, because anything that has pressure on it is gonna explode somehow. So, it is fearful to hear that aloha is not normalized in some sort of ways. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I know. I mean, yeah,
like it's not normal to just
it's just not like how it was before.
Yeah, everybody's on edge.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But I mean, we see it through social media, where it's just not really us.
Mhm.
It's also them too.
Mhm.
Like, hey, could you please, when people like videotape, could you please pick up your rubbish? I just saw you throw your McDonald's bag on the ground, and fuck you.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then right there, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, entitlement
Yeah.
to the 100th.
Totally. So, and and I think that's why there's the hostility towards them, and the locals might have they're just not as open as before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like if we take a look at the word aloha and try to understand that and like piece it apart, it can give us a better idea of like what's going on, So like
Mhm.
aloha, as a lot of people understand it, is like love or compassion or like the spirit of like openness and just safety and cultural wealth of just like
Hello, goodbye.
it's an openness.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an openness and a welcoming, and it's a feeling of it feels good. Like aloha feels good, and like there's so many olalo no eo like proverbs, Hawaiian proverbs about how important aloha is to Hawaii people. But when you look at aloha and like makavalu it, like makavalu is this process of like piecing apart the word and in order to understand the depth of the other words inside the one word so that you can see like makavalu is like 8 eyes, and the number 8 is significant to Hawaii people. So like but it's not necessarily to see things only from 8 perspectives, but like a multitude of perspectives. So anyway, when you makavalu, quote unquote makavalu the word aloha, you see alo, and then you see ha. You also see oha in aloha. You also see a and o. So like there's lots of, because those are words too, right?
Mhm.
So when we makavalu the concept, we see the word alo. And so aloha is in, from one perspective, aloha is the ability for us to be vulnerable with each other, to trust each other, to put our faces, our alo is face, together to ha, like to breathe together.
Mhm.
Like, and that vulnerability takes trust, because if your face is touching my face, I could stab you in the neck right there. Like I have the angle and the opportunity to literally kill you. But there's a trust that is required. Alo means presence, like the presence of a person. So for a person to be in their presence, a breath, like maybe that might be one eye of the maka is eye. So one eye of the one perspective of the word aloha.
Okay.
Anyway, when you look at the word alo, it also means face of a mountain. Like the alo of a person is the same as the alo of a mountain. For Hawaii people, there's no dichotomy or difference between the value of a person and the value of aina or of land. So like, anyway, that the makavalu of the word aloha kind of boils down to this. Like, regardless of where you come from, what is it that you do to take care of the face of the people and the face of the land, like the face of the mountain? Like when I ask myself about these questions about like hostility against visitors, a lot of times the visitors don't have, I said a lot of times, not all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of times visitors don't have the same accountability that like Hawaii people have to our aina. You know, and I'm not saying all Hawaii people feel that accountability. Some people need that like to reignite that fire inside of them that holds us responsible to land stewardship.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like when I think about all these things, there's this one phrase that comes to mind. And this phrase is like this kupuna phrase, this old phrase, like this old person is telling me, like, it doesn't matter who you are. It's about how you contribute. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. And this is like one of many kupuna, you know, one of many perspectives that sometimes like quote unquote conflict. But like, so visitors coming to Hawaii. Okay. Yeah, there's trauma of visitors who have come here before and they make any kind and they do any kind, you know, so there's that perspective.
Yes.
But there's also the perspective that is like, okay, what if this visitor is coming particularly to get involved in the system and like get involved in political ways that maybe Hawaiis don't have the capacity to do right now? Or like, what if this visitor is like, because I know a lot of people who are not from Hawaii that are absolutely instrumental to my identity as a Hawaiian. Ron Williams is one of those people. He's a archivist, like, and he found information about my kupuna that I wouldn't have had otherwise. Drew Cap is another one of those people. I don't know if Kepa Mali is from Hawaii. Is your mom from Hawaii?
Nope, kind of funny.
You know, so Kalena's mom is like not from here, you know? But if you compare the life and the breath and the faces of these people and then the way that they care for the face of Aina and the face of the people here and compare that to somebody who's coming and like popping their tent outside and they're just like chilling.
Yeah.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I know that this seems kind of scattered, but it's like the big idea is like, it depends on who you are and what your purpose is here, what your function is, like as a visitor, as a guest, you know.
Okay, so
that was a lot. Sorry.
No. It's a complicated question, and there's no right answers right now. I don't think so, but you know, so it's just kind of one of those things where no right answers, but how do we better that and the situation and then, you know, move forward together. You know?
Can I tell a story?
Yes, tell us.
Okay. So we went to the gym this morning. We went to BJ Penn's and we're getting ready in the girls' locker room. And this woman, we were speaking in Hawaiian and this lady came, she's like, oh, it's so nice to hear you guys speak Hawaiian. And another lady chimed in. She's like, oh, I was thinking the same thing. I wanted to tell you guys, it's so nice that you're speaking Hawaiian. And then that lady is like, oh, did you guys go to Kamehameha schools? And Kuulei was like, no, actually, they don't really teach you Hawaiian there.
No, I mean, they teach the classes, like the patterns, you know, but it's not really a fluency.
It's not like
It's not required.
You know? Yeah, it's not like Navahi or Kaumeke or like Punana Leo, you know.
It's not Hawaiian immersion.
Yeah.
And so that's what I told her. I told her it's Hawaiian immersion. And so inside
like
her agenda was, her agenda, what the conversation was though, is her child is looking for a place to take her kids. And they're in the continental America. By the way, if you guys can follow this conversation, we all want to try and change saying mainland.
No, Hawaii is my mainland.
Yes. If you believe in the kingdom of
Sean
Hawaii.
says that too, and I try to follow his lead and do the same thing.
It's hard.
And,
no, but it's a
hard.
programming. That's why, you know, from when we were young, it's a programming. Yeah. But anyway, so.
Yeah. So America, her kids are in America and they're looking for a school. And being that they want to move back to Hawaii, of course, they want their kids to learn Hawaiian. And retouch with that area. But so she was asking about Kamehameha schools because they wanted to try for Kamehameha schools. And another woman on the side, she's like, you know, you should look into the charter schools. And you can see in the room the tension between people thinking, oh, charter schools compared to private schools and whatnot. And she was really like vying for that. She's like, your kids have a one-on-one basis.
Mhm.
That is true immersion. She's like, oh, my kids can't go to that school because, they don't have Hawaiian and this and that. And she's like, no, it's a charter school. So charters, there's no requirement as such. But it's so interesting in that conversation. You say, how can we make a difference? And it's literally like making those little conversations in your everyday to-day life that creates those ripple effects that you really don't understand happens. Had she not come up, because when she's like, Kameme doesn't teach Hawaiian, I was just like,
Nah, I never say that. Like, I was just saying that that's not where I learned how to speak Hawaiian.
right.
Because they do teach it, and I mahalo the kumus over there. But it's
mahalo.
just like, oh no, when I was in school too, like
Okay.
I learned like patterning, kumuka umi, like kumuhanakahi, like those are really important kumus that I've had in my life. But it's like the fluency of it, like how well I speak Hawaiian, not according to the patterns, but according to the spirit of my chest, like how I speak it with my gut, like how I think it, like that I didn't learn from Kamehameha schools, and that's what she's talking about, like the spirit of how we're like yeah, or like just the spirit of how we kuka in Hawaiian, like I didn't learn that in Kamehameha. Maybe I learned some of the patterning, like the sentence pattern, the sentence
or the
structures.
vocabulary.
Yeah, and some vocabularies, yes. But
if you can't speak fluent Hawaiian at Kamehameha schools, you can still graduate, correct?
Yeah.
If you go to Hawaiian immersion schools, charter schools, and you don't speak Hawaiian, you will not graduate. Yeah, pretty much. And she was like bringing that point up, and I was thinking in my head, like, this is a total stranger, and she's willing to go there.
And then there's this auntie that came out from like the back of the bushes of the bathroom, and I was like, and she's like, yeah, my kids did not learn Hawaiian from Kamehameha. Like, Cause it's more of like it's very sterile over there. It's very.
I totally know what you mean.
Like, I don't know
we're
how
all
to
trying to
say
like
it.
dance around it in a politically correct thing and we're trying to be nice about it. But I'm a lot of people understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's
my little sister and brother
like,
graduated from over there too.
Yeah, no, me too. Graduated 2013, like graduated, and I have plenty of respect for the kumus, like,
which bummed me out. It's like, what? I can't cheer.
Yeah.
This is not very local.
Yeah.
It didn't feel.
What? Yeah.
But that school was birthed out of militarism, so we kind of expect.
Yeah.
But it's getting better and better throughout. But that whole point of her willing to dive deep into a conversation with a stranger, the ripple effect of that was that lady ended up taking the number down for the charter school to literally go look it up for her children. Her grandchildren.
And I like that, I tell people that too. Like the first time we got arrested up at Mauna Kea, Haole bailed us out. I got bailed. Well, I got my family bailed me out, but
yay family.
But yeah, everybody else, this I like to say her name was Dandelion, maybe, but kind of a hippie-ish.
Yeah.
White. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, but actually, also Kalena is not Hawaiian, like by blood.
Yeah.
So it's like again, that phrase of like, okay, yeah, great, like who you are, but what do you do to contribute?
Like me, I don't make the blood quantum level to get Hawaiian homes, but I still want them to get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a huge
thing.
That's
Dude. I die. Can I?
Do it. We're here. We're
the
deep.
blood quantum thing is like a whole nother issue. Like that. I was just talking about that this morning.
I agree. I had Kep on here.
Yes, Kael.
Yeah.
That guy.
He hammers too.
Rip him. Yeah.
But we had that conversation too, but I feel like it was set at that bar over 100 years ago.
100 this year.
100 this year. Okay. A lot has changed in 100 years.
Yeah.
Who makes that blood quantum?
Nobody.
And you can't hold it to that standard, right?
Seriously, like my great grandfather, John Henry Wise, he and Prince Kuhio was the ones that went to Congress and was like, we need land, our people are dying. And I think my papa was going at, like, he recognized that he was like going as a beggar because like literally they took everything and he's like begging for some kind of peace. And he said with his mouth, even any Hawaiian who is 1/32nd Hawaiian deserves land. Like, what do you mean which Hawaiians need land? You know? And the blood quantum thing was not ours. Like, that's not our concept. The Congress was like, no, we can't give every Hawaiian land. Like, you know, no, only 50%.
Yeah.
Or like only people who are, and then like over time,
that got bred out a long time ago.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a huge issue. Like,
so much so that there are Hawaiians out there. And honestly, when I think of how much Hawaiians are left, and I think of how many Hawaiians, well, I know who have 25% or more by the time I'm 80, like, I want to cry.
Yeah.
That
Totally.
is so
real.
sickening.
That's real.
To think of.
It's more sickening to feel that like one Hawaiian is more valuable than the other Hawaiian and deserves more land than the other Hawaiian just because of blood quantum. Like, that's kind of nuts. Because if we kind of even flip the script on that, there will never be no Hawaiians. Like, there would never be no, I'm Hawaii, you're Hawaii. So like, it's about reigniting that identity inside of ourselves. That's what makes somebody like Hawaii, you know, like whatever blood quantum. You know, so like if we step away from like there won't be any pure Hawaiians left, like that's a thing. But what if we think of like pure Hawaiians as like people who are ignited?
Okay.
Yeah, like pure-hearted, like ignited for the ways
stewardship.
Of, the stewardship of our aina and like the ways we take care of our language and take care of each other and the ways that we like instill the values of our kupuna. Like, what if we think of that as pure Hawaii people, you know?
But I think we have to be careful with that fully, because then there are those who are entitled who can be here and say, well, I get all the benefits.
Self-serving.
Because I can uphold all of these things. So I should be able to have all the things of Hawaii. Go to Kamehameha schools.
Well, I mean, if you're Hawaii,
the John Doe case. Yeah,
exactly.
Right,
yeah.
That was set aside.
Yeah, but the difference is that they're not Hawaii.
No, but by saying that sentence, someone who is listening could take that on as, oh, well, yeah, blood quantum isn't a thing. Yeah, well, I'm sure I could learn how to be Hawaiian. You know, there is...
it's the ancestry. Like, that's the thing.
Yes.
It's the genealogy and the name of the person you come from.
Yeah.
That name, that human, that person that existed like prior. Like the navigators who came here. Our relationship to them is what ties us to this place. Not the people that flew here or not the people that came here on like the SS Marines, Columbus, whatever law. You know, like not them. Like, you know. But anyway, I mean, that's a super... I want to make sure that we have some time to answer the other questions that you had. But I mean...
No, I mean...
It's all connected.
It is.
Yeah, fully.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like the thing with that too is they're not putting Hawaiians on the land right now. And if they did it, their fiduciary duty back then, I'm sure we wouldn't be in this... We could have lowered or you know, lowered the blood quantum till then or till now, and people would be on the land. They're not getting... They're playing this little...
No, it's nuts. Even people who qualify are not on the land.
Yeah.
People who qualify... But how did Prince Kuhio get there? How did Prince Kuhio Mall get there? Like, how did Target get there so fast? Like, you know,
Home Depot,
Safeway, etc., Walmart, etc. Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Which HB 499 is out there right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna sneak it in.
On a can.
So, how is he? So most of us just think it's super fucking ridiculous.
Big time.
You know, how is it even? How are they even asking for that again?
What is that? HB 499. Yeah. Like, what is even HB 499, right? So like Prince Kuhio Plaza is on Hawaiian homelands, and Hawaiian homelands is like quote unquote public lands or ceded lands. So like at the kahuli, like at the overturn of like in the beginning of the illegal occupation of Hawaii, like we're switching the term overthrow. We're switching the term overthrow to the beginning of the illegal occupation of Hawaii, because
nothing was overthrown.
It's still here. We're still here. Like, right now. Okay. So at the beginning of the illegal occupation of Hawaii, there was this land transition, like this transition of like ownership or like title or like land, like kuleana to the land, or responsibility over the land, jurisdiction or whatever law. But anyway, like there are certain parcels of land that were dedicated for Hawaii people, like for the betterment and for the health and wellness of Hawaii people. Those lands, as far as I understand, include Hawaiian homelands, include like crown lands. But anyway, like yeah.
Oh, sorry to.
No.
Let's just for our viewers.
Yeah.
Let's
about
tell educate them about crown and ceded lands.
Nice.
What is crown and ceded land?
Yeah, I actually
Beautiful.
don't know. Like
Okay, I can chime in a little bit.
Yeah.
So when Kamehameha III realized that Hawaii really is a strategic place in the world and that people are going to try
Who's
and
that? Kauikeoli?
Yeah, Kauikeoli. And he saw that people really want to take over. He started figuring out that I have to find a way to codify our customary laws that we as people already know. We never write them down. You don't have to tell a Hawaiian, what is Article 5, da-da-da-da-da. They already knew, like, just Hawaiian laws on their own. So he had to figure out a way to change those into a way that the world can understand these are our laws.
Like constitution things?
Mm-hmm. Constitution Day. Yep. 1839 and 1840, the first constitutions of Hawaii that we received. And so he found a way to use the language of the world or the major lands of the world to own land. Yeah, which is scary for Hawaiians to say because we never own land, right? But in our own way or in Hawaii's own way, Hawaiians own land. Mm-hmm. It's not the way that Haole own land, but it's the way Hawaiians own land. And that's where that huge clash is. But anyway, so he found a way to have title on land. So 20% of Hawaii land, or 25% of Hawaii was broken up. And he codified that there are lands that are specifically privately owned by the crown. There are lands specifically and privately owned by Konohiki. Yeah. And then there's lands that are privately and specifically owned by the tenants of Hawaii, which is the public of Hawaii. And these have become the crown lands. These become the ceded lands.
So like which?
All three. Lands that now have title to it and are privately owned. Yeah, because there's publicly owned and privately owned. So he made sure that each sector of Hawaii's leadership, as well as its people, can privately own land by Hawaiian terms. But these Hawaiian terms are now transferred into a way to which, in law, by outsiders, they also have to respect it as private land. Yeah. So does that make sense, guys?
It kind of does. So like we can't just come onto set up shop and start sleeping in your guys' property and mess it up and stuff. So it's just stewardship, right?
It is stewardship, but in the same respects, because this is where private ownership, a lot of people who are non-Hawaiian, or even Hawaiians too, all of this stuff was kept secret. So Hawaiians don't know what their rights are, so that they have nothing to defend. But once now Hawaiians know that our kings and queens and our ancestors did put things in law to make sure that we have private property that you guys do not have any type of title to, So this is what the king had done. So when he started giving out lands to Konohiki, and then he gave out the lands to the other royalty, and then lands to the people of Hawaii, then he started making royal patents, that Hawaiians could go themselves and they can say, my ohana has this much genealogy to this ahupua'a. This is where we are,
So that's a lodial title.
Yes.
Okay.
A part of it is a lodial title.
Okay.
And so that's when he started having royal patents. And so when he had passed away, all of his land, the royal lands that were given, was given to Kamehameha IV. But he had no will. So when he passed away, Kamehameha V and his wife kind of went at it, because Kamehameha V wanted it to be given to the rest of the public, because no one could, by blood, inherit the land. Whereas his wife was like, no, Kamehameha IV and the III created this law for it to be inherited. So I would like you to keep it as such. And so there was a big clash there. So while that was fighting, then we had Committee of Safety, we had all these big fives coming, we had all these different people who are fighting over land, while Hawaiians themselves were just trying to assure that what was already put in our constitution is being passed down will be done correctly the way that we want it to. So kind of in the middle of all that, that's when in the 1890s, everything happened with Lili'u. And so you have all of this land that by law, American law, international law, has title. It is privately owned by Hawaiians, which this is ceded Hawaiian lands. Yeah.
So like it's almost like so it would be in Western terms, like we're all shareholders almost.
You guys
Yeah.
are all shareholders.
All Native Hawaiians.
Yeah, are shareholders.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I like that.
But they like to take terms and make it extremely vague so that the rest of us can take part in the pie. So when you say, for the betterment of Hawaiian people, it will say the betterment of the people of Hawaii, which is now who?
Everybody that moves here. Or that
Like
wants
the
to move
state
here.
of Hawaii?
That's what the state of Hawaii is saying, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. But by law, it is privately owned land to which the shareholders are supposed to be able to choose what happens to these lands.
So like it's our kuleana. Like we're not like, yes, it's our privilege to have this land, but it's our responsibility and our like we have the say in what happens to this aina because it's ours, not by like not by
Ige, not by his his
you know
HB.
LMNOP, like
Yeah.
and the person who actually like proposed that bill is from Kohala. I think his name is like Parsnip or like Tarnis.
Where is he from?
Actually,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Born. But he lives in Kohala.
I know.
He lives in Kohala.
I like to see
Maybe
the receipts.
Paniolo stuff. I
Yeah.
really don't know, but I don't know. Everyone is kind of like, what? Why did he even? But yeah, so mahalo for the explanation. It's super. I mahalo that because when I
Me
think
too.
of ceded lands, I know like only a certain much I know, and then so mahalo for the part that I didn't know. Yeah, kako opiha. So yes, so it's ours. Like that's what I knew. It's ours. Sorry, that's all I knew. I don't know how.
Hold to
Like,
that. Hold to
and
that.
we needed to. Yeah.
Every one of you guys.
Yeah. So anyway, like no uke koleana. Like it's my responsibility, and I belong to this aina.
Mhm.
It was particularly stated that this is for me and my keiki and our wellness and our like for our peoplehood.
Mhm.
So these corporations like Prince Kuhio Plaza, their lease is coming up. They're leasing land from the Department of Hawaiian Homes.
For how much?
I think it's something like $1 a year. Like I don't know. I never seen the lease agreement, but I think it's that. You know.
But why can't we see the lease agreement?
No, I know.
With this age of technology,
yeah. Why is that not available?
yeah,
Like,
there should be a website. You know,
I wonder if there is. Like maybe I should check. You know.
They usually do that. Like,
But you
after
know what though?
years.
Okay, this is kind of nuts too. So the Prince Kuhio Plaza or the Waiakea complex also is responsible for giving a certain amount of money to the Hawaiian Homelands Association. So like the group of people in the community who do community events and then there's all kind of like random dramas with that too.
yeah. So do they do the community events?
The association?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I don't know.
is
It's
it
been kind of
handpicked?
nuts. Actually, I used to be like a member of the board, but then there was like this super.
So you were a member of the board.
The youngest member ever.
You were okay. So you.
I don't know if ever, but like.
You're the, and so what was, if you don't mind telling us, what benefits do you have? Did you get a certain payout or?
Okay, no, I
okay.
didn't. So I didn't have access to monies, and actually, it was funny because like, we elected a president, and then the president who was president before her was like president for 2 terms, which I don't know if that's allowed or what, but like he was a president for 2 terms. So then we all came together and elected another president, and then the meeting was closed and like he was in agreement to like the meeting and everything. And then like the next thing we know, he was like, nah, that was illegitimate. So she's not the president. I'm still the president. And like and he has everything, right? Because he was the president for the last, I don't know, 4 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know about like, so the same thing that happened to the government of Hawaii, like it was almost like, no, this is ours. Like legally, according to the bylaws, like we're the new governance.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was like, nah, she never paid her $3 dues. So like, and she did, but they never give her one receipt. Like, I don't know. It was super, super nuts. And so I don't even think I was ever acting, like an acting member of a
Committee board?
Bruh, I don't know. It's still super nuts. Like right now there's 2 boards. One that's operating like because the auntie was like actually appointed the president, and this other guy that was like, nah, no way, they're fake. Like they're fake and I'm still the president. So anyway, this association, whichever board, this is a big deal because like Prince Kuhio Plaza, I think they are responsible to paying like $100,000 a year to this association for the betterment of the surrounding community of their building. Like, I think that's part of it. But then, like, I don't know, somewhere like long time ago, maybe 60 years ago or whatever, the Department of Hawaiian Homelands or like other beneficiaries was like, well, I live in Keaukaha. How come I cannot, like, how come our Hawaiian homes cannot have a piece of that? Well, like the actuality of the situation
because of the airport.
Yeah, them.
Okay.
But so the conversation was like, how come we can't have some of that money? But the response to that is because the mall directly impacts our traffic in Panaeva, you know? But so I think the money ended up being split across all the homesteads, even though the other homesteads don't have to deal with all the traffic that the mall brings to Panaeva.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that's like that money was supposed to be for Panaeva's homestead so that because we're dealing with all this change, you know? So anyway, and then it steps into like other crazy and nut stuff. But anyway, so HB 499, the lease is coming up. The lease for the Prince Kuhio Plaza is coming up. And I think that's a 60-year lease. And actually, that's not coming up till like another like 3 or 4 years or something. The leases that are coming up though, is like the UH's telescope lease and Pohakuloa. Like those are coming up like real soon.
Yeah.
So, and that's also considered same kind land as Prince Kuhio Plaza. So this is kind of sketchy. Like you're talking about Prince Kuhio Plaza, Mabara, but that lease is not that's sketch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, what HB 499 allows for is for the Board of Land and Natural Resources to extend Prince Kuhio Plaza and all other like public lands, leases on public land, extend that for another 40 years. And some of us have been waiting for these leases to come up so that we can hold these people accountable to better management of that aina, better stewardship of that aina.
Totally.
So for example, if me and Panaeva Hawaiian Homes is like, $100,000 was like 60 years ago, maybe you can do $200,000 now.
No, a million. Come on, get 2 million.
No, you know, or like
let's go market price. Why aren't we going market price? There's a real estate, there's real estate.
Yeah. Or any suggestions.
We're playing by their rules. So they should have to play by their rules also.
Completely, kako. And so like the opportunity for other like people who want to bid or like there's like an opening that happens when a lease comes up for renewal. Now, this bill would allow the BLNR to extend those leases another 40 years before anybody has anything to say, like about anything. So that means we cannot like give input about the lease terms and conditions. Like we don't have, even though we've been waiting all my life, literally, for these leases to end, so we can say something, so that we can like do something
move
about
forward,
this,
and better the community,
community. We can't now because HB 499 allows for the extension of that until I'm like 70 years old.
I'm gone. I'm gone.
No,
I'm like, the diabetes is acting up. I don't even know if I'll make it to tomorrow. Like, and that's a serious thing. Like the health and wellness of our people is a serious thing. So anyway, HB 499 is just like super nuts, and we've been organizing to help. It passed the House. It passed the Senate. Like, right now, it's on Ige's desk, and he has the opportunity. He and only he has the opportunity to veto it, like to throw it out.
So how did he get that far? And why?
Bro, we never even know.
How is it this discussion that it's not on the news? It's not on, it's just shared between social media, between activists like ourselves.
That's an activist. I like that.
That is.
Yeah, you. T-shirt.
Yeah, I made one T-shirt like that. So
you did.
Yeah,
I like my own.
I know.
I wish if I had enough money, I'd just give everybody.
Yeah,
money.
I hear you. No,
but support.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
But so it's we're not even involved in that conversation. I felt like it's always brushed on the rug and kept very secret. Until there's one whistleblower. And then now it hits social media, and then we're all reposting everybody else's stuff, which is really good. And I feel like that's the only power, and that's our voice right now too. Yeah, so
I think that's a traditional strategy of a colonizer
to keep people uninformed,
big time. Sneak it into the
newspaper, and we wonder how come people are not on the lookout for these bills. Bro, we're working 5 jobs.
Totally.
Like
To pay a mortgage or
because
survive.
gas is $6 a gallon and milk is $12 a gallon. like mabara. And minimum wage is like $6 an hour. Like
For real.
nah, exaggeration amounts. But
No, but highest cost of living, lowest cost of
Fully.
minimum
Income,
wage. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's $10 now. Just
Oh, that's nuts.
It's so shitty, but only because but that affected me too, because I don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I'll employ people so I can work on other things and grow and try to have a better business and stuff. But now I can't. Because now that there's like, okay, with my with my lease and my rent over here, I can't hire somebody. I have to work it
And do everything. Yeah.
and do everything.
Yeah.
So now I can't involve myself in politics.
Nope.
Or in protest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You have
a
because
baby.
we're working.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like literally.
Surviving, you mean?
It-
Not even
I
working.
know.
You're surviving.
I know.
Literally.
Seriously, and barely too.
Yeah.
Like
But you know what
seriously.
the average home price is
What is it?
in Hawaii?
What is it?
$920,000.
But I don't even know how much
$920K.
money that is. Like,
It's almost $1 million.
oh my bara.
I want to cry.
Go like
That's not cool.
cry for a God. like
Jeez.
no. No, but seriously, that song is old, but it's super relevant.
Still,
Yep,
it is.
still.
But so like, yeah. So that's where the hostility comes from.
Big time.
People
Yeah,
that can
you got it.
and exactly right now too, people learned that they can work remote now.
Mhm.
And I've seen this.
Oh, there's a whole program like dedicated to bringing people here so that they can work from home.
But you shouldn't.
Ew.
Like you shouldn't. But it's up to us to put that pressure on them. Like they would have. If we didn't stand up there and block the roads and everything, they would have. That thing would be probably
Yeah,
halfway
guarantee.
built.
No, guarantee. Yeah.
And just like how you said about about Pana'eva and Kilka and stuff. Now you got to split the pot. It becomes a smaller pot for.
Yeah.
Because they're not. Kilka's not getting money from the airport, which they should be getting money from the
Amen.
airport. Pana'eva's now having to split the pot with Kilka, and now Kilka and Pana'eva's going at it with each other.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But that's always been their game plan.
Amen.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, but
That's deep.
but they do that.
Yeah.
Throw
You pin
throw
minorities
some
against
scrap.
each other.
Yeah.
And then make them go. I saw it when I saw it with the GoFundMe on Mauna Kea the first time we got arrested.
Uh-huh.
Somebody set up a GoFundMe a couple days before the arrest happened. But once the arrest happened, it went on the news and on social media, and then that GoFundMe people just donated.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
And then so in the next meeting, I just watched them fight about the money.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, who's in charge of the money? How come you in charge of the money? Who's getting that? Where's it going? And then I saw like, not about drama. I have a job.
Yeah.
I have a job. I can support myself.
Yeah.
But split it up evenly or something. Yeah, talk about it. It's just a conversation that needs to be had with everybody. And if it's your concern.
And I really feel like this issue that you just like put on the table, on this round table, this issue is like a lot of issues in that we had a system for this kind of stuff. Like we had tradition, like quote unquote traditional, like we have cultural systems that were in place to teach us how to lead, to teach us how to manage resources. Like we had a system in place. And so like the solution, because we're talking solutions, right? The solution is to try to look back into those ways and maybe apply them to these spaces, see what still resonates and what still fits.
It's a good blueprint.
Yeah, it is.
The blueprint still works.
Yeah.
You might have to modify it because, time changes everything.
Yeah.
So a few modifications, but the blueprint is definitely there still.
Yeah. Kako.
Just food independence. How did we lose our food independence?
Whole like
Smart. That's so
it's
smart
a
of a
whole-
colonizer to do.
Yeah.
Make them depend on us as a colonizer. So that
For food, like,
for survival.
Tell me that 80 plus % of our food is imported.
Because I'm going to ask everybody who's listening right now, how much of you guys really can say you're comfortable if the barges do stop?
like if the ships cost. Like,
Not only that, EBT.
Yeah.
If they cut off EBT, nobody wants to lose their EBT.
Yeah.
Because we fucking buy Pop-Tarts and when that thing comes in, we go buy steaks and lobster and
Yeah, so like
kind of
as we're
killer
talking about
stuff.
solutions, like I feel like so people, when we circle back to the beginning of our podcast episode today, like people coming here, right? As people come, like I feel like I gotta say something about my ohana who are fully against all people ever coming here ever, because that's also a very real
It is.
and
There-
serious perspective.
There is. Yeah.
Like to see things from multiple perspectives, that makavalu process, like component or like process that I talked about earlier.
Mhm.
Like we gotta understand that we all have different perspectives on things,
And that's
And-
okay.
and that's okay, you know. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes, and a lot of times, we can make it work because it's good to have multiple perspectives on a certain thing, so we can see all angles of the issue, you know. But anyway, so like as we're talking about solutions, like I work, like I have a job too, and I work on like a disaster response program, but I also work, it's funny that we're over here because I also work on like opiate misuse like situations and like culturally anchored care for like people who have substance use disorder. And so anyway, there's a way that everybody has a role. It's not everybody has to stand on the front line. It's not everybody has to like be a politician. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has a certain
Gift.
skill set and gift, that they can offer to the independence of our nation, and not just political independence, but also food independence, but also the independence of our minds, like the sovereignty of the way that we think and the way that we understand things. Like everybody has a function, you know, whether you're from here or not, like whether you lived here 20 years and you just, I'm from whatever, wherever you're from, there's a role that you can hold, you know, like, and I think everyone feeling like, nah, I don't know, I don't want to get involved. Like that is a huge issue. Like you could even, like if you're looking at, like if we take the imu, for example, or like rapping laulau, like if we look at the organization of our nation as a laulau rap, like even if you just sit there and cube meat,
Yeah.
that is
And
something
do-
huge.
And do one particular
Exactly.
task.
Small, what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, like micro task.
Yeah.
Like to do something so small that it's like we have to have a system. Like we should organize
And
a
they're out
system of
there.
like,
They're
you know?
out there. We just all have to dig deep to find it.
Yeah. And I think people have to be willing to like communicate with each other and like
Mm-hmm.
come together, you know?
The way you are. Thank you for this.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
a- thank
Mahalo,
you, guys.
mahalo. No, yeah, because there's some like, I think in the community there's different perspectives on different things. So it's like, nah, like he's this, or like nah, her the kind, they think this about that, or like nah,
much
you know what I
clicks.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like as we organize toward like bigger issues, we have to find a way to come together in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the solution.
Totally. Like, yeah, every time like when you guys tag me in something, I don't just repost to repost. Like if I don't know about it, I do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just like super busy too. So
Yeah.
sometimes I don't, but doesn't mean I just like I don't agree with it or anything. I myself have to have
Your
that due
homework.
diligence.
You do your homework.
yeah,
Yeah.
and learn what it's about before I post it and
Yeah,
put my name on it.
Matters,
Yeah,
that.
guarantee.
But so
Not everybody
No.
does that. Right? Like they're just like, I guarantee share 'em.
Yeah.
No, and that's very Hawaiian and that's very genuine.
Yeah, that's very
That's
real.
genuinity. Yeah, that's being honest to the utmost.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wrap it back to like Mauna Kea and where I see Hawaiian and culturally the strength to the culture as far as being an answer to the problem is structurally as a ohana unit. You know, Mauna Kea decided to use the kupuna as the focal point to look for the source of who's going to make the decisions
And, like,
and
lead,
whatnot
yeah.
and lead. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they definitely led in getting arrested, but then going forward. And of course, there are things here and there. Did you want to say something?
yeah, I wanted to chime in
Yeah.
on that too. But you know, our grandparents have this thing, and they taught it down to us. Don't rock the boat, though. So in the same sense, they're asking them. They want to say, okay, you guys resolve it. But that generation also has that inculcation and stuff where not to rock the boat too much.
It
And if we
depends
get
on what
if we
kupuna.
get a little
Yeah, I know,
bit,
I know.
Yeah.
Kenny
Walter
Kupuna
Rainey
that
gonna be
day.
like, let's rock that
Pereira's about to be
motherfucker.
So there's a small handful,
Yeah.
but like for I say
The majority. I
majority
understand what you're saying.
statistically.
Yeah, I understand.
There is like
That
no,
is frustrating.
rock
And that's the
boat.
complexity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
And you know what? Like what with that phrase, they're right. Don't rock the boat. capsize that motherfucker because we need to have this shit out of here. Like, no,
that
seriously.
definitely it challenges
Seriously,
us though to do our homework even more so to switch it in a way that doesn't even seem like the boat was rocked. But little do you know.
Oh, my grandpa was a
shit is being
cop. He was in the military. He's a
Mm-hmm.
cop. He's like, what the hell are you doing up there?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
Guaranteed.
and it made me a little bit shame. And then he was like,
Wow. See, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's how you know,
Yeah.
like systematically, genetically, politically, things are changing.
yeah.
Because you, inside you, in your spirit and in your soul, and the kupuna inside you is like, bro, go stand up over there.
Yeah,
And then
you gotta
your
got places
real
to be,
life
my
grandpa
brother.
over here
Yeah.
is making you feel guilty. So now you have to face that truth
Yeah.
within yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, why do I feel guilty?
Generational trauma.
Exactly.
Oh, bingo, bango, pickle, mango.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
And so, like, that's why I respect you guys so much. Like, honestly, if you're Hawaiian out there, like, I respect you so much just for breathing because
Even
you're
that
not
is hard
supposed to
these
be
days.
alive right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You really are not. And so, just know that.
Like every single force is in motion to stop us from
Living.
surviving and then
Exactly.
especially thriving.
And thriving.
Big time.
And thriving.
So just to even breathe is an
You're
act of like
special.
resilience.
Amen.
For Hawaiians.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
You said that, bro. We all, without you telling us to, bro. I saw all of us.
Oh, it's the high.
I got
the
chicken
aloha
skin
for
too.
me.
Bro. Look,
Literally.
I got chicken
Yeah,
skin.
yeah.
And that is so Hawaiian. You know, I think answers to truths, we don't want to think that an answer should be so simple.
Yeah.
But that's how you know that's the correct answer is it is simple.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The simple is the most powerful and that's just hard to believe. You know, like if you're losing weight, the biggest answer, learn how to breathe correctly. You know, breathe from your gut, right?
Well, stop. Now, does that work? Because I gained like 25 pounds.
How you
after
breathing
COVID.
over here? You breathing through your nose? You breathing in your gut? What you drinking?
I'm ready
Yeah.
to try everything
What
now.
you drinking?
Yeah.
You look
Yeah.
good. Stop you.
I got a dad body, but I have a newborn too, so.
Yes.
No, but even like the reclamation to the
Oh, what does that mean? Reclamation.
like to reclaim.
Okay, beautiful.
So like to reclaim our relationship to our breath. Like that's such a real thing, because how we breathe is like how we live. And then there's the Hawaiian word that is ea. And some people say ea. Hawaiians, tell me what you want. Kanaka maoli, tell me what you need.
Yeah.
I must never forget what our kupuna taught. Yeah, even if I had to. Oh, that's my jam.
Ole.
Sudden rush kind things. But anyway, no, but it's that air. It's like how we breathe is how we live, affects what we eat, affects our relationship to water, like all of these things, like to treat like aloha aina. Like people talk about that word, yeah, and we say it a lot. Aloha aina, bumper stickers, t-shirts, everything. Aloha aina, aloha aina. But like aloha aina is not just to love your land, but it's to remember that you are land.
Yes.
So taking care of your land is taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
wow.
taking care of your body.
Yeah.
Like how are you gonna aloha aina kukia imauna, but then like
You go to McDonald's.
yeah.
That's contradicting in itself.
Fully, and sometimes that's all you can afford, but like a lot of times we
Nah,
can,
right.
it's expensive.
but
No way,
like a
tell
lot
me
of
not.
us
McDonald's is
can
more
afford
expensive.
though. Like I know McDonald's is
It's
getting
more
to be
expensive.
nuts than like one
Yeah.
head of lettuce, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, or one carrot, like we, and also it's the time. Like some people cannot afford
right,
the
the time,
time and the energy to be doing
Like,
these kinds
I
of things.
hate taking my kids there, but I do.
But bruh, because that's all we can
Yeah.
afford, time and energy wise.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Well.
but
That
when
value meal, man. That value meal gets me.
no, really,
sometimes.
$250 for like one the kind, yeah, or like something. Anyway, the value meals is the ones. And I had McDonald's for dinner last night. Like that's real. And I'm not saying like everybody has to be perfect, but to be conscious and
Yeah.
aware of the way that we breathe
Small changes.
and like the health of our body in relationship to the health of our
Our
land.
land.
Like
Big time.
planting your own food is a really important piece of aloha aina.
Yeah.
You cannot just say that and think politically and think like radically, but also, bruh, do you eat anything that you grew ever in your life?
I want to add something to that. Howley's doodle.
Yeah.
Howlis can.
Yeah.
Like they have the freaking resources and the time and the
'Cause
energy because
they
they're
sold
like,
their property in Los Angeles
Yeah.
for $2.3 million.
yeah, and they're
bought
just
one.
over here living their life, like
So
how
you're
it
right.
goes.
You're right.
But fully, like, how come? No, we have to reprioritize our breath. Like, we have to reprioritize our air. For Hawaiian people, like air o ka'aina, like the breath of the person is the same importance as the breath of the land. Like the scientific process of how the
earth breathes, like that's the same breath of the person.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just like prioritizing our wellness and like the way that we treat our bodies as best as we can, like prioritizing that, like somehow in little micro step ways. Like maybe I cannot like be a health guru, but I can definitely drink this water instead of this pink drink, or this water instead of a frap, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I cannot like be a skinny Instagram like the kind model like that, or maybe I cannot be like Tiare Lawrence, who is like super mahi'ai, like fora aina, like aloha aina check, like ha'akeaolana, like beautiful. You know, maybe I cannot be that
You're
right now.
beautiful.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, but I mean like really treat, like they really treat their bodies well and they eat well. You know, maybe I cannot do that right now, but I can definitely order this fruit bowl instead of this Snickers bar. You know what I mean? I can do that. Like it's the micro steps for me.
Yeah, it is.
You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I just indulge.
Oh, I
out
just
here.
go off. Yeah, sorry. I was just like, just
No,
give me
but
a mic.
This is
like,
all connected, though.
No, I was talking about. I just indulge in that Snickers, bro.
oh, me too, my father. Like I'm stressed. Like I've been stress eating. Oh, and
Stress
then
eating. Yeah.
like, and then it comes to this conversation about relationships and like
It's
how
connected. All
like the
connected.
energy that we consume in our
Bingo.
lives. You know, like I've been in this relationship and I love my kane, like for sure, you know, but it's hard. Like Bottoman has been through some hefty stuff in his life. And me too. And so we're carrying around this thick trauma, and then the energy is just like, yuck, bro.
Well, and then if one of you do step outside and, you know, just to release that burden, the other one doesn't do the same. Now you just took on his burden too. So it's not
Fully.
like you didn't really
Fully.
release your burden. You just took on somebody else's burden. It's a tough
Were
one.
you
Oh,
in our
it is.
conversation
No,
this
it
morning? Were you in the car with us this
I
morning?
know.
'Cause
I
feel
think Mamara. because also like my kane is like like blood quantum. He's like 88% Hawaiian. So like
So you guys just trying to have kids?
bruh,
Just for,
see, don't tell my secrets, Mamara. I was going to dip right after this. Nah, but nah.
For real,
like,
though.
Joking, not joking. Like it's funny because if you think about it, like my ohana, we were very fortunate to have 10 acres of Hawaiian homes, agricultural land. And if I marry somebody who is not Hawaiian, my kids cannot inherit.
That's a tough one.
So if I marry somebody that is 88% Hawaiian, Bumpikana had his nephew, my kids can inherit, and so can their kids without worrying about marrying to keep aina.
Yeah, that's
You know, like my
heavy.
kids can marry for love if I sacrifice the tough.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's hefty.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Department DHHL, like the corruption is real, you know?
Mhm.
Like I don't know, those things bleed all the way through, but yeah, you know, it's tough. Like to find our breath, to find our relationship to our bodies again, to find safety again, to find like just to breathe. Just to breathe as a Kanaka, like we were talking about, you know, that's a lot these days. But if we can just manage to do that, you know, it'd be good.
It's been amazing to be a witness, though, to for someone whose identity was totally stolen from them, or they thought that it was stolen from them, and then like you're trying to live throughout your day, and then to watch you guys reclaim identity, you know, like get healthy, something simple, yeah. You lose weight, you get healthy. You have a little bit of aina, or like you learn a little bit of who you are, but then to see how you just being you and you just being healthy, how much that helps all of Hawaii is nuts. And no one ever thinks that, especially Hawaiians, you don't think that you just being healthy in yourself is enough, but it is so crazy how you just being healthy and you being able to be you and have the resources to be you actually makes a difference in this world. And no one ever tells you that. But that really does make a difference in this world.
Yeah, kako. I feel like for like even for me, especially for me, like as a quote unquote influencer on social media, you know, like for like, I just saw this post because Aloha Aina Meds, right, is my music.
Yes.
But I just saw this post where there was this little girl and she was doing a homework assignment and she was writing about her favorite song. And her favorite song was Aloha Aina Meds by me. And I was like,
My whole heart.
this is nuts. So imagine if I ate my own food that I grew.
Yeah.
Like imagine if I taught people how to do that. Imagine if I was able to like set the example for how I treat my body, like set boundaries for like what I'm willing and not willing to consume, not
Yeah.
just food wise, but energetically.
Exactly.
You know, like the ripples, the amount of ripples, the way that would ripple is just
Big time.
super big time.
That's transformational. That's evolutionary.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just
You
existing.
being- exactly.
It's just
healthily.
being well. Like not even thinking about my job, not even thinking about like, you know, anything else. It's just about being well. Yeah.
Okay, so Kalena, what do you do for occupation?
Yeah.
And what's your educational accolades?
Okay. I'm a graduate Hilo High. What's up?
Hello?
And then I went up to Manoa and I got
Okay.
my bachelor's in ethnic studies.
Okay.
And from ethnic studies, I went on to master's of women's studies and political science, indigenous studies.
Masters.
I still have a semester left.
Oh,
Yeah.
get that, girl.
But then thereafter, now I'm currently working with Auntie Malia Pereira, her mother. Yeah,
my mom.
at an anesthesiologist's office right down the road. But I'm also a flight attendant with Hawaiian Airlines. But I took leave when COVID happened. So I go back in July. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's I tell everybody, that's a fantastic job because I was friends with, a couple of flight attendants. And, I get benefits, from somebody
Nice.
too. So,
Yay.
I love to travel and I fucking missed it,
I
man.
bet you
Yeah.
do.
But so, like, even with the, you were happy about it,
About the, yes.
about the little break. And
I'm selfishly, I want the barges to stop coming.
Selfishly,
sometimes,
we gotta prepare. Like,
yeah,
wait
but
a
sometimes
second.
it needs to come to something really drastic
Exactly.
to wake everybody up,
Like Mauna Kea.
like Mauna. But even with Mauna Kea, so and in my opinion,
Mhm.
the beautiful, wonderful thing, amazing thing about Mauna Kea is we all, we were invested in Mauna Kea, not in just one. We didn't share the same exact belief
And reason, yeah.
in reason, but we did. We just like happy to come together for a reason.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Like anything else, we disagree.
Yeah, I know. dude. And involve some money. The sad part is involve some money, and everybody's all support local, but involve some money, and we're all fighting and we're all jealous again, which fucking sucks, dude. I get attacked. I get attacked online all the fucking
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
dude. Oh, you're making money off the Hawaiian culture. I was like,
What?
born and raised here. So, and not to say I'm correcting my justifications and stuff. So you'd rather buy a Howley brand,
Right.
a foreign brand that uses the same language I'm using,
Right.
with same design motifs and stuff, but you're mad at me?
Right.
It's the
Fucking-
makavalu, like that, like
Perspective.
the ability to see things from multiple perspectives. Like, okay, like right on, that's one Hawaiian perspective. You're also Hawaiian, Keone. So that's another Hawaiian perspective. So there's all these different eyes, and sometimes they see different things, and that's okay. But damn, like it is what it is. It exists.
It exists, and it sucks, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
No, it's just an opportunity for you to strengthen, like for you to hikaloi, like self-evaluate and be like, okay, cool. Like, what about this resonates with me? Like, how can I be accountable to this narrative? Does it like
true.
and then be like, nah, but this is but cool. Like I can evaluate myself and here's what I have to say for myself. You don't have to say nothing to nobody because you're you. But
Yeah.
nobody is, we just all is my kai.
Yeah.
But for yourself, like to have that, like, okay, well, you're right. Like maybe I should think about this, and you think about that, and then you come up with that. Like, yeah, well, what about all of the aloha attire at Target? Like,
Yeah. Oh, totally.
like
Yeah, and they that's funny that you mentioned that because they actually copied one of my friend's designs,
Oh,
another
gosh.
local brand.
guaranteed that happens
Oh.
all the time, bro.
You know the
so
script HI.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, my friends from Information did that
A long time
15
ago.
years ago or whatever, but really long time ago. And Target saw it's popping with the local community and stuff.
Bro, like that's a real thing with all kind stuff, not just clothing and designs, like bags, blankets, like everything is just like
Well, how I learned this, I was so my first brand, I was in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And then so I was getting everything manufactured in Indonesia. I was 19 years old. Didn't speak Indonesian. didn't have the internet back then. Well, I had the internet, but it was American Online. You know, American Online. That was that. Yeah, it was that online. But then I saw some surfboards and I saw a surf shop that said Aloha. I was like, oh fuck, we got some Hawaiians out here. And I felt yeah, dude, totally, dude. I felt comfortable. And then, my uncle was out there at the same time too, because he was doing he was doing some sourcing for another brand. And then I was just like, oh, what? Hawaiians. Because this when you're in a foreign place and you don't want to go still hang out with your people, you know what I mean?
Of course.
And so I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Let's go check them out. And it's like, no, bro, what? Bro, although it's owned by an Australian.
Oh.
And then right there, not heavy. I had to process. I was like,
How
wait,
is that?
yeah, exactly. Wait,
Yeah.
what the fuck? How the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's not
What do I
right.
do not right?
Yeah, that's not right. But then also, I'm still not a hater. I don't I'm not a hater, but it's like, okay, well,
How do you hold
shoot.
people accountable?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like what you're trying to do
Yeah.
at the time.
But then right there, that also taught me that I have to go after it too.
Good for you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Good for you.
but
But they can, I can.
Yeah.
Damn.
kind of, but that can turn into a roller coaster ride too.
Yeah.
Because we'll do something because it might not be the Pono thing to do, but we got to do them before the Hollies do them. Then now we just
Interesting.
shifted our whole mindset
Interesting.
into this whole Western. Now we're getting caught up in their thing. We're
In
doing
their
the same,
game.
yeah, in their game, and we're doing the same thing they did to the.
Trying to play chess, but
Yeah.
you're supposed to be playing Konane.
Oh yeah, that's real.
Oof. Damn, Oni.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, born and raised here. Stop being a hater, bro. Do better, or stop
Do
just stop
better.
being a hater.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
As soon as we start realizing we're hating, we know that the system's working, guys. We know that colonization has happened and it's happening in our brains. The more we continue to hate, just know that and choose not to be a part of that.
I came to this conclusion recently that there's a difference, and my relationship teaches me a lot of these things, but there's a difference between holding somebody accountable and attacking somebody. Like there's a difference. And that accountability piece, the foundation of that is aloha. So like if something, like if one of your design, like for example, were you like, did you have Kalena over Farmers Market Hawaii?
Yeah, I own that.
Okay, cool. So like I heard, or like just things in my community, like my circle of friends or whatever, like the mana'o nui, or like the idea was that like that ki'i, or like that the tiki figure that you used was more about ku than it was about lono. And like the farmer's market issue was like, if you're looking at a farmer's market, the akua that is in relationship to the farmer is lono, because that's like the akua.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
I totally understand that too. But it was gods in general, and what they signified, and what did they always signify? It's just hope. That's what it was about.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying, so like you have your.
But I did it in a really, I guess, in a more broad and vague way, so that it has a larger reach, and it it doesn't just commit to a small group of people. And
I think what
beliefs.
I'm getting at is that there was a reason that you did what you did, So, but what I was talking about is like there's a difference between holding somebody like quote unquote accountable, or like holding somebody, so being like, brother, this is the information that I have, and like I just wanted to present this to you because like I don't know how I'm gonna make a decision on how I'm gonna support your brand or whatever, or whatever la,
Yeah.
Versus he doesn't know nothing. Like, and his brand is so like it's just so rubber. Like, he doesn't know nothing. He's not even Hawaiian. Like, or like he's so fake Hawaiian or whatever. Nobody ever told me that about you, but like,
I mean, I've heard it.
that's what I'm saying.
So,
I'm
it's
sure
cool.
people have said that, or like
yeah.
whatever things people come at you with. Like, there's that version.
Yeah.
And
I accept it too.
there's like
That's
that
cool.
thing about like, I don't know, do you know about ku, or like do you know about lono, or do you know about these aqua? Like there's that conversation, So when we say like don't hate, because it's in relationship to that, I'm talking about the second thing, not necessarily, because the first thing is good. Like having dialogue or like trying to understand each other, like trying to develop conversation around things that really will educate us as a people and elevate our ability to like know things about our own self, like
True.
our own history
Yeah.
is super great. And like, so I'm not saying like don't challenge things. I'm not saying don't question things. I'm saying like have aloha at the foundation of that. Like have resonance be the reason that you do these things, or like that you call somebody out on something, or like whatever, you know, like because there is a difference, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
No, it reminded me
That's
of
a good point though that you did make, and and even it's a more educated point too.
Yeah,
than
fully.
from
It
where I
gives
came
us
from.
the opportunity.
it's a
because
heightened
It is
way of
it is.
thinking.
Yeah, it's very focused. But I created Defend Hawaii also. So Defend Hawaii was a brand, and one of my popular designs was it was Defend, said Hawaii, and had a picture of
a gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the AR. For me, I'm an artist, and I've always been into art. And as an artist, it's about making people feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but also about creating dialogue with
Nice.
your art.
Yeah. Controversial. Nice.
Yeah. So, but not. I mean, I'm
No,
not
but
going for just.
conversation
Yeah, I'm not going
pieces?
for all shock factor.
Mhm.
I'm going to create dialogue.
Yeah.
So then right there's like, oh, Defend Hawaii, use a gun, da da da. But okay, let's go into the history. How did Kamehameha unite the islands? The use of Western. I mean,
Oh, I don't know about
So-
unite. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like we want, like we literally like
created
killed
dialogue.
So plenty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally.
No, it is that. So like
But-
we resonate on that same thing, like to just educate each other, or like to hold space for
Yeah. I mean,
learning. You know.
But then, so for me, I can pass it to you, and you can elaborate on it. You know what I mean? For me, I feel like if I can, like how I have this platform now, I'm not the fucking big swinging dick of the Hawaiian community. You guys can speak what I can't. You know what I mean? But for me to create a conversation and then pass it to you guys, and you guys can help educate. Like, remember what we just talked about? Do everybody
Has their own role.
I'm cubing the
yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Not
talking
the
about.
la-
Yeah.
bro, not presenting up. I
But
just
bruh,
cubing
if we
them.
never have people cubing the meat, we'd be in trouble.
Big
Like, I'm just
time.
saying, like we couldn't do the things we do if we never have people
Mahalo.
cubing the meat. You know.
Then we did that. We did the mural. So I did the mural with my other friend too. And it was he said, we put Aloha Aina, and it was a hula dancer with an AK-47.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, well, they covered it.
Oh.
It was on the news though. But for when I talked to when I was teaching my friend he's Filipino, but I met him in prison and stuff. But we were talking about like hula and stuff, and how it was hidden, and it was like an illegal practice back then. So that's what that image is. It's we're not fucking going underground again.
Ah.
But what the fuck is his name? Harry Kim.
Mhm.
Oh, the community doesn't like it. It's violence. You're promoting school shootings. Dude, I'm not fucking promoting any of that. I'm promoting a conversation that should be had. And we're using Aloha Aina. I'm using, the thing that you guys said, only what do they call it? Heathens and what's
Hula
it?
like that. Yeah.
Hula, yeah.
Yeah. Pagan things.
Paganist. Yeah, dude. And I was just like,
No, and to hear that mo'olelo is super awesome. And I think like I can understand why like hula practitioners might be taken aback by that. And like
I can too.
it's like a pico thing, like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. Like to see an image like that for some people,
mhm.
but not for all people.
mhm.
And like I said, the makavalu thing, like to have 8
Perspective.
different eyes on 8 different things, like that's a concept that's very real, so it doesn't like devalue that or
Mhm.
like I don't know. I'm just saying that like it helps to just acknowledge that there are different perspectives
Yeah.
around things.
I mean, even in the hula community, the argument is, what's the argument in their community is Awana and Kahiko. And Awana was never performed, right?
I think it's
like
newer.
traditional, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
newer.
Traditional. Oh.
And so it's, yeah, exactly. It's an evolved form of hula.
Mhm,
You know what I mean?
mhm.
But just like the conversation, just like the images and the graphics and stuff, it's an evolved form of visual communication.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing too.
Yeah, I think like on that topic and on in relationship to all the things that we covered today, like there's this word and the word is mo'okuauhau. And that word translates to genealogy. But like when you makavalu the word, right? There's this word mo'o. And mo'o, do you know what is a mo'o?
Yeah.
You like, I get plenty of those.
Trying
at
to
my
show the
house.
picture over here.
No, that book is that was their makua too, and they're from Molokai, and you know the book I was just telling you about.
Yeah. Rainbow Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like mo'o are like geckos, like like that's how a lot of people say that word. Mo'o, Panaeva was a mo'o, and a mo'o is like a big reptilian creature of the forest, like jungle dragon kind things, like maybe with no wings or something. I don't know. Kuna was a mo'o. Kuna and Maui, like there's a story at Wailuku River. We're close to here in geography right now, but
And somebody always dies over there, man.
oh yeah, because and the kuna is like the mo'o is almost like represented by the undertow of the water. But anyway, so mo'o can be those things, but mo'o refers to like a sequence of things. So the word mo'opuna means grandchild. Mo'olelo is like story because it's a sequence of events. Like mo'o
Lelo.
Mo'omana'o is like a log of like a diary or something, so it's a sequence of events. Ku, it means to stand or to be erect. And also like ku is like this akua of war, but like it's the reason ku is the akua for war is because ku is the energy of erectness and discipline and politics. Like ku is the akua of all of those things, But ku also means to stand. And auhau, it means to tax. So mo'oku auhau translates to genealogy, but it's like in debt, like not so haole perspective of debt is like we owe money. But from a Hawaii perspective, if we makavalu the word mo'oku auhau, it's like I am indebted to the people I come from. Like this is a mo'oku auhau means this is a list of people, like this is the sequence of people that I come from that I owe my life to. Like I am indebted to these people, not like from a colonized perspective, but like from a Hawaii perspective. Like I am in relationship to these people in very heavy ways. So anyway, when we're looking, the point I want to get across is that everything we do has a mo'oku auhau. So like your hula girl with the AK, like with the gun or whatever that you did, there's a mo'oku auhau to why you did that. Like as Hawaiians who are trying to decolonize our minds and re-indigenize our minds, like we're called to this process of stepping away from right and wrong and yes and no and stepping into spaces of understanding and resonance. So like, okay, instead of just looking at Keone's products being like, oh, that's rubber or not rubber, I'm going to look at this and be like, I wonder why he did that. Like, I wonder what the process, what the genealogy, what the lineage of his decision-making process was before this finished thing. So earlier we were talking about the issue of visitors. Instead of like, what, like, is that right or wrong? Like, let's talk about the story behind what the heck happened in order for us to get here. Houselessness. Like, let's talk about the story of like what, it's that movement to look at the events that led up to the thing versus that's right or wrong. Like that's just the process that I hope that every person listening to this podcast can kind of take home is like decolonizing our minds away from like right and wrong and into like understanding,
Totally.
It reminds me of on Mauna Kea, Auntie Kikohi was talking to us about warfare. And she's like, and maybe this is just stands true to Hawaii Island, but before they wouldn't go and physically fight each other. You first would go and compete with the mind. It's called ho'opapa. So warriors would show up and you literally would have competitions of the minds. Who knows more about things in general than the other?
Oh, I like that.
Poetically,
I didn't
scientifically.
even know that.
So for you as a Hawaiian, this is to Auntie's story, you are the utmost Hawaiian if you know more perspectives.
Oh, wow.
About all these different areas. You talk about coal, which is sugarcane. Can you talk about coal from Kauai? Can you talk about coal from Maui? Can you talk about coal from Hamakua? And whoever can rap the most about coal from all these different places is the winner.
Yeah.
So that is like the epitome of a Kanaka, like the utmost Kanaka. Is
like
for
war
you.
was not the first you fuck us, we go bang. Like that wasn't the first
Nah.
like goal, you know.
It's like, yeah.
See, I had no idea about that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's like wits of the mind.
Yeah.
Can I out ninja you?
education, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not like right or wrong. It's just how much perspectives can I outdo you from?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And you know, just like how we were talking earlier, everybody plays a role. So you might have a stronger Hawaiian who can bang. He's on banga. You know what I mean? But you might have then the educated one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And everybody kind of you know, fulfilling a role that you know, it's
Makes a whole-
spark plug that makes an engine run.
Big time.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah. What does Auntie Manu always say? Individualized wholeness makes collective excellence.
Oh, that's the one.
To
Okay.
be individually whole,
Mhm.
everybody just working on being whole themselves is going to create excellence as a society.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the one.
Okay, so you guys gotta help me. So I don't know how to say it in Hawaiian, but you guys are gonna write it down hopefully for me. But it was, you know, I read it in the Olelo Noyao, which was when you bend over to help somebody up, you strengthen your own back. That's my
favorite.
that's my favorite. one.
Ow.
I don't know it. I never heard it.
I read it.
Yeah. Oh, that's my and I want to know how to
It's
say it.
easy
in
to
Hawaiian.
find. Like you read it from the Olelo no Ea book.
Yeah, I think I have it right there too.
We'll get it.
But I was. Do you know how to find that then?
Yeah,
I don't- I
you
couldn't
just
find-
look in the index. Yeah. I'll look. I have it on my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Olelo no Eas are like the way of like.
And even Uncle Azoriel's daughter, Jamaica.
Yeah, Heoli
She had a talk on Mauna Kea about enemy and how there was no real word for enemy. But it plays to that saying that you're talking about. Like we never really had an enemy. All we did was have people to help strengthen ourselves or help to mold us into stronger people.
That was my favorite. I couldn't. I didn't even know how to find it.
That's a beautiful.
Oh, what's your favorite Olelo no Ea? Ay, look at this cute drawing. I don't can.
Your
My daughter.
bookmarker. Oh,
we gotta put a date
your
on
Y
here.
over here.
So cute.
Do I have a favorite?
Yeah, do you have a favorite Olelo no Ea?
Ole. I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
What's
What is yours?
Yeah, mine is Heia no ka papa'u loa'a wale I ka hopulima, Heia no ka hohonu noho I ka ea. And it means fish of the shallow will always be easy to catch with the hands, and fish of the deep keep fishermen wet with sea sprays. And so like I'm a full deep sea fish. Ulua's wide. And so like no, like full deep sea fish. Like people like I don't like if I see some way that we as a partnership can be better, I'm there. Like even if it means being challenging.
Mhm.
You know, like I don't just like shut up and cook dinner and wash the clothes. Like I'm a deep sea fish. Like it's hard to catch me and hard to keep me. Like you got to work at it, you know. But fish of the shallow, they're easier to catch, but they're also like sorry, kala mai imi paha o I like kua
Yeah,
or back
kako'o.
or kahimea. But it's like the fish of the deep are just always like the fishermen like the fish of the deep. You know, like deep sea fishing is like harder to do, but it's worthwhile. Like when you get that fish,
yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, it speaks to the wealth of our people
Mhm.
and like how we are deep sea fish, and we don't have to wade in the shallows. But then also there are fishermen who prefer shallow reef fish. You know, so
But
there's
even
that truth.
even what you just said, that the shallow fish still play a role, because sometimes we use the shallow fish as bait to catch the big fish.
Oh,
There you
wow.
go.
Boom, boom.
That's the kauna is deep. Like kauna is like hidden meaning. So like that's super true because that represents something in the world, you know. But yeah, that's my super favorite. And I think that like I wrote this song actually. I wish I had my ukulele, but it goes Hei a hohonu noau, nohoi ka ea ea I na la'apau. And that means I am a deep sea fish and I live in the rough waters. Ina a ole oe ma'a I ka pa'akiki. Like if you're not accustomed to hard, like having a hard time with something, e imi paha oe I a vivi. Like maybe you should seek to catch a skinnier, smaller fish. You know, like that's like the kauna of it. Like if I'm too much for you, like maybe you should go like try and find a different kind of fish.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like that's the mana of it. But that's my favorite.
So
Wala
this
naman
one
nila-
complicated fish because I feel like I'm on complicated
Yeah,
fish,
it's
bro.
the deep sea
Yeah.
fish for sure. You know,
heck
we're
yeah.
that, and Hawaii people are like we're very intelligent. You know, like,
Heck
I think
yes.
it's like so junk that people attribute being smart and being articulate and being like thinking like critical thinkers is like a foreign thing. Like it's not.
Heck
It's very
no.
Hawaii to
Mhm,
be
mhm.
that way. You know.
Yeah, look my little man right there.
The Ohana entered
Aloha.
it.
Nice to meet you in person. On social media, I see you.
I know.
Aloha.
Aloha.
He's checking guys out.
He's like, speaking of intelligence, here I am, Dad.
Yeah, I know. Aloha, boo
I know. I hope he takes after the mom.
oi.
Both you guys.
Aloha,
Both you guys.
Aloha. What is his name?
Keone also.
Oh, he's gonna
He's a
take after
junior.
you. You
He's a junior.
power in a name.
Junior.
Power
Do you have a
in a
Hawaii
name.
Oh, it's Keone.
Yeah.
Babara.
Look up your book here.
Keone. Yup. Aloha.
Yeah, going off of what you're saying, like how people intelligence, how we look at intelligence and how you measure intelligence. And with colonization, it's measured by your grades, it's measured by your grade point average, it's measured by how good of a college you get into and how great of a job you get. But when you really look at intelligence valued by Hawaiian standards, there's probably a homeless Hawaiian man out there who's more intelligent than anybody in this entire neighborhood.
Yeah, probably.
If we really look at it in a Hawaiian perspective,
Mhm.
you know, and there's multitudes of intelligences. And Hawaiians, I think we're good at knowing that there's so much multitude to it that if you just learn your mo'okuohau, your genealogy, what was the intelligence that was passed down to your genetics, and how do you now in this generation capitalize on your intelligence, you as an artist? How do I capitalize on that? Be the best at being an artist. You being the best at being an ukulele player. You know, that is how we step into our roles.
Yeah, I mean, I knew you from music, so I wanted to just kind of touch upon that too.
Me.
I knew you from music, you know. I don't really see you doing music a lot anymore.
I don't.
So
No, I think that like I'm in this really weird space right now, where like I have this habit of like putting my relationship before everything in my
Your
life.
health.
Before
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
My
your
health, my
family.
happiness, my wellness, everything. And so I like this even this like full transparency out here. Like this
Proud of you. I'm
morning,
proud
I'm
of
like
you.
trying to figure out if this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like if a relationship is what I'm supposed to be doing because it's fully like draining
In a
like
way, yeah.
everything extra that I could even have to pursue my art. you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So like I'm a musician and I'm a singer, but haven't been really focusing on that. I'm not blaming my partner. I'm blaming my toxic patterns of like codependency of like putting everybody's shit before my own, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So-
But it's good that you recognize that too. I'm the same way too. I've like I'm not even I hardly do art already.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, fuck,
yeah.
I gotta get back to that.
Which is interesting because she had a I Ching. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
In Chinese culture.
Yeah. So I Ching is this process of like there's sticks or coins that you can use, but it's like anyway, it like produces a fortune for you, like a fortune. It's not really divination. I'm like super butchering the whole I Ching thing. Like it's a sacred thing for Chinese
But
people.
spirituality within Chinese tradition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So for her this morning, like that kupuna or that ancestor came through her and she's like, oh, I have this wand. So she looked into it and her message for today, and I hope I'm not butchering it, but it's like, don't make a decision because your resources right now are kind of finite or like drained. So you don't have the ability.
Build up your resources.
You
and,
don't have the
build up
ability right
your
now
support
to make
system.
the correct decision that's most healthy for yourself.
Yeah. I was
You
like
know?
trying to like figure
And it's
that out.
interesting that you're saying, oh, I don't hear you do music. You know, that is drained right now because there are different resources. And when I say resources, I don't just mean money, but I mean like your mental health, like your physical health, all your different resources. It's drained. So she doesn't have the capacity to even make a decision.
And music, I think, with any art form too, you gotta be passionate about it. So once
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
so when
When you're
the
out of
vibe and
it.
energy is not there, it's
Don't force
hard
it.
to it's not a switch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta ride a vibe and you gotta ride in energy and it builds and then you kind of get uplifted by it, and then you're inspired, and then you have that aha moment, like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then that can, with sadly, with certain interactions, done.
Cut. Yeah.
Yeah. Even experiences, like certain experiences, just cut off your creative vibe, and it's just there goes.
So do you have music on iTunes?
Yeah. So I have a prayer album right now, and it's not like a album of hymns. It's more like I think people don't realize that everything that we say is a prayer. Like things that when we say like, oh, this freaking sucks, like I suck, that's a prayer. Like that's like maybe a negative kind of prayer.
Like the power
but
in
for
words.
Hawaii, yeah, we say like he mana ko kaleo or like he mana ko kaolelo. There's power in everything that we say. Ika olelo no keola, ika olelo no kamake. That means like there is life and death just in the words that we say. Like we can speak somebody to death. Like that's a Hawaiian concept. And so for us to just even talk about, like, there's this song I have and it's called Will We Be Okay? And then it's just super simple. Anyway, this album is it's a collection of super simple songs that are prayers for light and for joy and for love and for wellness. And like, it's just like songs about those things. It's not like, dear God, help me through this day. Like, it's not a whole album of that, yeah. But it's it's called a prayer album, and you can look it up on iTunes. It's like Kuulei music. Like you can just Google, like look that up, and that'll come up. With Ika Akamai, I just released Aloha Aina Meds. It's a medley of some awesome songs. One of those are a chant from Kumuhina. That's in there, Kuha Aheo. There's an 1893 song that I wove into that medley, so it's pretty nuts. But yeah, there's that.
Can you sing a paragraph of
No.
something?
I know, but we should have pressured her. But if I saw the musical instrument,
Let me bring Keone Jr. over here. He can sing to him real quick.
Hey, I wanted to tell you thank you too. I saw you at the state capitol.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Through Instagram, bro. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
mahalo.
thank you.
Holding
No, I'm
spaces.
super grateful, and for the people who Venmo me, like there's always flights that I have to take to different things. There's always like poster board materials that I out of pocket all the time. There's all of that, So when people Venmo, like my Venmo is at Mauliola8, MAULIOLA8. People literally fund the movement. Like people fund the movement through their like $5 donations to their, like literally $5 buys like 2 poster boards from Walmart.
Totally.
So like, and it's a serious thing. So that stuff at the Capitol was like sponsored and supported by all of the people who were like, oh, here's for food or here's for supplies or like,
And on Friday again, right?
Yeah. So this Friday is like there's a press conference at 1 outside of Iga's house. I think it's actually at St. Andrews, the press conference against HB 499, which we talked about earlier. But
so if this passes, that's kind of a heavy thing.
Oh, it's kind of nuts.
Dude.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
And to leave it up to this guy, dude,
I know.
It's only up to him now. There's no way we can go back on it already right now before it.
They're like the representative
Who's the rep?
Tarnis.
Yeah.
Tarnis. Okay, never vote for Tarnis.
No, nobody ever vote for that guy. Like never ever.
Yeah.
And even some of the thing is that, like how we were talking about before, people are not informed about these different things. So we didn't have a chance to tell all of our representatives to vote no. We didn't know about it, So people were like, yeah, like yes to this bill, and like.
But even from already passing the Senate and the House, and now people calling in and people going online and putting in their name for Governor Ige to veto HB 499, from the beginning of this bill up until now, only till it went viral on social media, did news coverage started covering it. So yesterday, the Star Advertiser covered it. A couple days ago, it was KITV. So people's voice and the multitude still is making a difference and making noise.
Yeah.
So still call in, guys.
So we just got to do this every time and sooner.
Yeah.
So, exactly. Sooner.
That has to be it.
So what? How do you guys get information? Or is it just?
Well, we just wait till somebody finds out.
For real, yeah.
And so.
No, but we're searching though.
Yeah, I guess like now I learned a little bit more about the process through HB 499, through this issue. Like I learned about how we can stay posted on what bills are introduced. But even that is so much work when you got to work.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I feel the grants are for. Grants are made for people like you guys to create these Kanaka committees that care about our needs and our interests.
You know how they say, show me your friends, show me your future? Like how you said, how do you guys get your... And social media, I think, and too, that's where everybody gets their news. So everybody, if you can be a little bit more conscious about who you follow and, you know, just make sure that you, even when you're just trying to not think and scroll through your media, that stuff too is going to fill you in the right ways.
Yeah, because burnout is super real.
Yeah.
Like, burnout is super real.
Like Helani Pale, she's a big one. Thank you for always doing the due diligence and being on all of these different bills, everything. Thank you so much. What else would you say?
I think for this one, Auntie Helani has a lot to do with it. There's a lot of supporters, but I think like the issue that Kyoni brought up about like for us to have access to being able to do this work, like I think that's a really big deal.
Mhm.
You know, because Auntie Helani, I think she has like some kako'o, like some support from like Kalahui Hawaii, or like there's an organization that she is
a
part
part,
of,
yeah.
or like get support from. But I mean, then there's us, you know.
Mhm.
There's us, like random people who have jobs and like how to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, frustrating.
I know. Like, how come? Like, what is the seat of your emotion right now? Like, I think that's really like mahalo for feeling safe to
Yeah,
cry. Like,
thank you.
You guys kind of see Keoni's crying. Everybody.
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
don't cry,
frustration
baby.
is real. No, me too. And that's very Hawaii. Like, by the way, to cry.
Can I be honest? Like your brand, it is straight in your face. And like, if you don't look up the mo'okua of your brand, you know, like how I asked you the first time I ever approached you, I was like, hey, what does it mean? Like painkiller.
Yeah.
And you really did talk to me.
Oh yeah, it's
was
not
like,
about the like opiates or narcotics or anything.
Right.
Like for anybody, any change of emotion that makes you feel better, that's what a painkiller is.
Mhm,
You know.
mhm.
So if you like surfing, your
Painkiller.
perfect condition, that's your painkiller. That's
Beautiful.
when you're doing that and when you're involved in that activity, nothing else fucking matters.
Mm.
You know. So yeah, that's what it was. But you know, I have had it for a long time and
It's beautiful.
it's grown and transitioned
Mhm.
into something a little bit more deeper now, you know, so whatever.
Oh, mahalo. And now that I get to meet you and aloha alo like face to face, like look you in the eyes, I must say to everybody's listening, I know you can't see him, but you can feel this guy's mana and you can feel he cares. And this is a safe space to be.
Yeah, mahalo for this safety
is-
too. Like that's kind of nuts. Like I really appreciate you
No
using
way,
Yeah.
this
thank you.
platform
Huge.
to bring awareness to like these issues. you know?
Oh shoot. Yeah, no, I almost tried to rush you into it because like I wanted to talk about the bills and stuff. I was like, oh, ASAP. You know what I mean? Because if we don't, they're gonna pass it. And,
Yeah.
you know, like the earlier we nip this in the bud, you know,
Mhm.
we have the power to stop it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it is, the hope.
And so when it comes to the process of staying vigilant on these things,
Mhm.
like this is something that people can do like as they check their Instagram, as they check their Facebook, like check what bills are being introduced, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
I'm lucky I got you guys.
Home,
Because
bruh.
Each other.
I
Each
don't
other.
have the time. Like I'm
No,
just
me
I'm trying to
either.
pay all
Like,
my I know
so
too.
people tell me, and that's how
Yeah.
I know. I don't like look at any kind of like, bruh, who has that time, you know? But when it comes to this kind of stuff, we ought to make that time because that's
Yeah.
kind of nuts that this just kind of slipped like right under our whole noses. you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Like I feel like this is HB 499 is a huge like this bill and all bills that are introduced like to that will have a negative impact on Hawaii people. Like that's politics.
Mhm.
And like I don't like to get into politics because I'm triggered easily.
Oh,
like
totally.
bro, I don't even want to have a conversation about bills. Like I want to have a conversation about 1893 and how we're still illegally occupied. Like I want to have that conversation, you know? Triggered, like
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
triggered.
Totally.
And then that calls into question like the voting issue. Like, do we even vote? Like, okay, so if I was to speak on that issue, I would say I think this year is the only year that I voted. It was hard. I'm like, I'm not even American. Can I even vote? Like, bruh, is this even a thing? But then I realized that what if we didn't vote Ige in? What if we voted a different governor in? What if Tarnas was never voted in? What if more people like Favela was like, I think Favela is a senator, but Favela is always like, no. Like, he's like the only no. Like, Bottom-Man is the only no, like, ever, like, for the people.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's like, no, don't, like, he's really pono. Like, and he came to the Capitol the same day I went. He came. And so there are a few, like, politicians that, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Voting would impact that.
Mhm.
Voting would impact who represents us, and we could vote people in that are like us, you know? So I didn't know that before. Like I didn't have that awareness, you know?
So I mean, so when I do streetwear, I do designs and graphics and stuff for a little bit of a younger crowd.
Mm.
So, but it's because now I have their attention. Now I can speak on these things and inspire them to be the same
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Cool, because that's like another function and role that you have, like
Huge.
cubing the meat, wrapping the lao lao, you know, like that's a pretty important.
Huge.
The influence that you have on young people through your work is huge. And so just like, I feel like this process of the roundtable talk, is that what this is called?
Oh, round block podcast.
Round- Ah!
No, but round table.
Anyway,
that
round
plays into
block.
it. Round block.
Round
yeah.
Oh,
Makavalang that,
I see you. Round block, yeah. So like this process is the community work. Like it's us, this part of the community plus this part of the community getting together, talking stories, and then figuring out how we can be part of the solution together, like in relationship to each other. Because then, like maybe if I'm like, oh, like Kekiani, there's this new bill, like let's design this flyer, like
Yeah.
bust this sticker out, and then like everybody it comes with the
Like how you helped
information.
in Hockey Pool. That was
Yeah.
huge.
You know, like fully, like we can mass disseminate information about how to mobilize and get
Well,
involved.
Well, yeah, I know we don't like to talk about politics and stuff too, but I like to remind people about the media's lies about everybody up on Mauna Kea. Oh, they're smoking, drinking, doing drugs, that they're partying.
Yeah.
Dude, but so I feel like they did that. They use that.
Narrative.
It's a narrative, but it's a marketing thing. I market. I do marketing.
Oh.
So I understand that they knew how to use these, it's propaganda on the whole COVID thing and how they shut down the economy. The middle class is growing and gaining power. The middle class, which is, us, independent business owners, boom, shut the fuck down. Get back in your hole. You know what I mean? And we're here and we're there again. So, yeah. So, it's really about, supporting each other and getting back out of the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. But thank you for normalizing, or heightening or hypening, allowing the younger generation to realize this is cool.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Like
it's
this is
cool.
legit, guys.
Yeah,
like
that's what-
be
that's
about the
my
movement.
thing.
That's what I
Yeah.
love about it,
Right.
and I appreciate that, because not most kids can't understand HB 499, but they can understand a picture
Yeah.
that you put. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, cool. We're ready. It does have a deeper place and a deeper meaning,
Right.
But I feel like you're someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable. Like I can put it into your lap and you can explain that and stuff, and
Yeah.
and
that
feed that narrative where we can build on it from there. Yeah,
Yeah, and like we can work together on things.
Yeah,
Like imagine if we had like a system where like, okay, cool, we like I don't know, like just the way that things work, like this issue comes out and then we mobilize to figure out how to get people involved. And then like there's a QR code and then there's a something that we can do. And then like your people and my people like have immediate access to important information and also you video stuff like and then like I mean like as opposed to like his designs are like controversial, so I don't like talk to him. Like, bro, that's like just whole resources just
Washed.
But
gone.
I watched that. Mauna Kea taught me so much. So from the beginning, the first round of arrests and stuff, I was kind of popular on social media and stuff, and they didn't like social media at first.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
oh no, they're going to know what we're gonna do, but at the same
Those
time,
fear.
they need to know what we're gonna do. How are we gonna get support? We need 10,000 people, because if there's 30 of us, they're gonna roll right over us again. We need 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we
yeah.
get 10,000? Social media.
Yeah.
If I have 50,000, you have 50,000, we have
Yeah.
150,000.
I think like the management of that came in later, like people like being intentional about what gets released, because like if people know, then like police can also mobilize in like ways to counter what we're doing before we even do it. Like when we, so there's a tactic to it. Like there's a way to move. But I mean, kako, like I support so like mainstream, like to mainstream something, like to take an idea and then to pop it into this field of like everybody got to know. Like I feel like that's part of your the capacity that you have that other people don't have, like your ability to mainstream an idea. And I don't mean mainstream like I don't know, like brands or like mainstream clothing or mainstream music. Yeah. I just mean like the ability for a Hawaiian person to have access to information that deserves to be part of the mainstream. Like even if we take that and put it into like Wailuku, like maybe and then there's like the opposite of that, which is like, well, we don't want this information to be mainstreamed because that's very old. Like there's this older mana'o that is, we are going to keep this information for ourselves because this is from our family and we don't want it to go anywhere. Or like, don't teach anybody this because you have to be a certain person and have this certain makakau. Like you need to be prepared or ready for this information.
Right.
And that narrative has kept information really exclusive, and then so much so that it dies. Like with the people.
Yeah.
So they don't share.
The double-edged sword.
Yeah. And so I think like as we're talking about like taking things and like social media, putting it on social media, it like that process allows us to take information that people need and make it readily available to the masses so we can mobilize as a mass. Versus long time ago, maybe we never need to mobilize as a mass to address some kind of big issue like this, So I really support like being smart about how we engage with other people.
Well, because I understood, I know what they're doing. I know how they're marketing. I know, like they use, the local news stations, and it's, yeah. This is a bunch of BS too. But so I know how they move. I know how they operate. So I know how to operate and move like them too. And I know what we have to do to, how we going to get, Damian Marley to come up to the mount, I know you guys know Jason Momoa,
Right.
The Rock. And The Rock and stuff. I personally brought Bretman Rock up, and then I watched people like, like Hawaiians too. It was just kind of disappointing. Like, oh, he's clout chasing. He's not clout chasing. He's introducing, a subject matter, a narrative to the rest of the world. He's helping put that out there, and you got to play the numbers. Out of his following, actually, back then he had a bigger following than The Rock, but throughout his following, we're gonna catch some people that believe in the same thing we believe in. But if we don't do that, and there's this whole negative connotation about clout chasing, you're doing it for the grab. If you're doing it for the grab, fine. Hawaiians need to stop, talking bad about other Hawaiians. We don't know their reasons, and until you know their reasons.
Oh yeah. I shared a little bit about that too. Like somebody was like, "Oh, do you kanu for the mouth or mouth? Like do you plant food for your mouth or do you plant it for the clout?" And like I was like, "Whole bars, like yeah, that's true." But then I was like, "Well, whether you're planting it for your mouth or your clout, like you just need to be planting it, Mabara." It doesn't matter for what. If food security,
exactly. Exactly.
So I mean, and makavalu, like to have different perspectives on one thing, like that's cool. Like yeah, for sure. But does that serve the purpose of making more people to want to grow food? Like, does that for the clout or for the mouth? Like, does that encourage people to plant food or not?
Well, we got to play the numbers. Statistically, if only 10 people know about that, then only 10 we have the power to only change 10 people. But if 1 million people know about it, then you're gonna have to go percent wise. Okay, only 10%. So we're still gonna have 100,000 people, which is pretty good odds.
Right.
So play the numbers, and the more people know, the better our chances are.
Yeah.
Because not all of the, like I said, we're not all going to share the same beliefs at the same exact moment. But leave it up to them.
Yeah.
We're not the,
You're giving more options.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Totally.
For no one to ever feel like they're stuck and they have no option and nowhere to go, that is the worst feeling. But for you to present them more opportunity, that's empowering.
Yeah. And that's been kind of my thing and my goal, not cloud chasing, dude. Because if I sat back quiet, I still making the same. I'm making being involved in this kind of stuff. I actually, just to be honest, I make less money.
You
You
have to
know what I mean?
sacrifice more. Yeah.
Yeah, but not only that, I make less money if I just kick back, don't say anything, let everything run its route. We're gonna lose. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm so proud of you because it's hard. That's why they say ignorance is bliss.
Totally.
Yeah. If you don't know, then you can just live on and pretend and not have to sacrifice.
But I'm not fulfilling my kuleana.
Exactly. Yep.
And
Yeah.
this to me is beautiful. This to me is beautiful.
That's it's part of it.
It's powerful.
It's part of it. Like there's a collective kahea right now.
Mhm.
And the kahea, the call, is from kupuna who are older than our kupuna that are ripping at our intestines for us to get involved.
Yeah.
Because there's no not getting involved anymore.
Nope.
There's
Yeah,
no, we cannot choose.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna choose. We cannot. We will not. Like we, as not in just our generation,
Mhm.
but like all of the generations that came before us, the generations that were alive in the 1890s, when like the illegal occupation of our nation
And before
began.
that.
Like also the kupuna who were very articulate and who were like alive and well before that.
Mhm.
All of those kupuna are like no longer.
Mhm.
We are no longer gonna sit aside and like stay in our safe studios and like do nothing, Mabara.
Yeah.
No. So it's a collective call. Hawaiian people from Hawaii, Hawaiian people who were born and raised in Long Beach, California. Like I just had a session yesterday with somebody who was literally born and raised in Long Beach. Her parents were born and raised in Long Beach, but her papa was from Kauai. She was like, I need to figure out how I have kuleana to something. It's like burning inside of me, and I have to figure out what to do about that.
Mhm.
It's a mass calling for Hawaii people to get involved.
Mhm.
And so now we are to figure out how we're gonna do that because there are a million ways, you know. But I mean, that thing that pulls you to cry, Keone, that thing that pulls you to tears,
That's your answer.
is like 100 years of boys sit down. It's like 100 years of no, you shut up because
Yeah,
this
it
is, you know, this is America. Like it's 128 years of shut up. And it's also like 300 years of no. I'm not gonna shut up. You know what I mean? It's
But
like
I've always been that kid.
yeah, you know, and so that it pulls at that truth and that kuleana that you have to do something. And so I'm proud of that. Like I'm proud of that within you. I'm proud of that within all of our kanaka who are like now trying to awamo. Like the word awamo, it's like, you know, that stick that like Chinese people when they carry buckets of
a
rice
yoke.
or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
A yoke on
water.
an ox kind
Yeah,
of.
Okay,
that
yeah.
stick. So like this is not just our kuleana to like, it's not just our responsibility. It's our function to like carry this weight evenly across our backs. So like when somebody decides to like donate $5 or donate 10 minutes of their time to sign a petition, they're not helping anybody. They're bearing the weight that is ours to carry. Like now we're all getting activated and to get involved and like the crying is just part of that. You know, it's part of that. Like, okay, this is real. Me feeling called to this cause is real. Like it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I see 4,000-year-old kupuna like in you who we were literally seeing like, wow, this grandchild can hear me.
yeah.
Like, wow,
Yeah.
I can come through.
Finally.
He's listening.
Yeah, because the
And-
other one is like military. I don't know.
But I'm sure there's a military out there, Hawaiian, who has something pulling at your heart. And buddy, that's kupuna talking.
Yeah. No, they used to feed me a lot of information
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you know what they're doing.
I bet.
Is that treason? No.
Yeah.
Bruh.
So the Hawaiian Constitution?
No.
Yeah.
No,
That is
like a
utmost.
social security card is treason. Like Hawaii is my nation,
Yeah.
and like we like that is where my allegiance is.
Yeah.
Hawaii has my allegiance.
Yeah.
Mahope mako o lili ulani. Like
Oh,
we
yeah, no.
stand behind lili
Yeah.
forever and ever. And so no, that's not treason.
No.
Like Americanism in Hawaii is treason. You know,
Well, I,
like,
I tell a lot of people too. You know, I'm not because everybody. Oh, you're anti-government. I'm not anti-government. I'm pro-Hawaiian.
yeah, That's real. And then also, we were a constitutional government
Monarchy.
here.
I was just
Yeah.
arguing on Reddit this morning about that.
Did
too.
you really?
Are you guys on Reddit?
No.
It's so Reddit is just it's one of those platforms. I feel like you guys need to be on it.
Okay.
But I
Sometimes
don't
I
have-
look 'em up.
honestly, like, I don't have the bandwidth. Like, I cannot even Instagram.
Okay, I'll
is just
flow it
too
through
much.
you. I'll
Like,
flow it through you.
Mama.
No, but it's where you go and you have conversations.
Okay.
It's not these arguments.
Shallow water.
It's not
Okay.
arguments. You
It's a
present
heightened,
facts,
elevated.
and people
conversation.
read your facts and make their own deductions.
Nice.
And they either push it up or push it down.
Uh-huh.
People can push them down, but that comes with the territory. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think like just the understanding that like when American businessmen decided to take our queen and like force her to depose herself from the throne, like to depose when they deposed our queen. Like we were not some kind of unga bunga random bushes people.
Yeah,
like we had a constitution.
Yeah.
We were internationally recognized.
That was
More
my
treaties
argument
than
this
any
morning.
other country in the
Like
world.
we had international relationships. Like Timoteo Ha'alilio died sacrificed his life and his relation to his wife to get these signatures from these people around the world that affirmed our sovereignty, our freedom, our independence.
And he passed away in San Francisco. No.
Mhm.
Some people say that he died on the way
Up to
back home.
one of the 3 delegates or 4 delegates. One of the 3 delegates made it there.
Oh.
San Fran.
And then other people don't think he died of tuberculosis. They think that he was murdered. And like that makes sense to
That
me.
does.
Yeah.
You know, but
Sadly.
so Timoteo Ha'arilio like gave up his life, like his whole life for the independence of our nation. And then because I think the American businessmen at the time are used to just thinking that natives are unga bunga people who don't know nothing. And we're like, yo, we have a constitution. We're a constitutional.
80% literacy
excuse me,
rate. Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
We had electricity before the White House had electricity.
Highest
clubbing.
literacy rate in the nation before we were part of their nation.
I know. And so we're just like, sorry.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I know that we are in conclusion of this time together because we have work and things, but
Yeah.
you got to get to things too. But
This
like-
is my longest podcast. We went 2 hours.
I know, Mahalos, everybody.
Thank you.
Like, and we would be on 2 days and we need to be on 2 centuries and 2 generations from now. Like, that's real. This conversation has to like permeate and resonate for the years and years to come. Like this conversation,
Yeah.
you know, so.
I just want to say real quick, because I'm saying feeling all around here. There's a bunch of signs that say feeling on it. But for all you Kanak out there who are having feeling, yeah, that's intelligence. That's a form of intelligence. And for you to still feel is a huge feat. And there are kupuna inside of you who are trying to speak. So whatever that feeling is, follow it. Don't question it. Follow it. Because no other country, no other book can teach you what that feeling is trying to tell you. Okay? So trust in yourself. Trust in the kupuna inside of you. And just be yourself, because that is beyond enough and a gift for all of us out there. Oh, yeah, Valia.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Ola, oy.
Okay, you got it. What's your closing?
Oh, like my
Leave
closing.
us. Yeah.
Oh, everybody. Like,
You ulua.
you ulua bangers. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we're not closing. Like this is just the opening.
Okay.
You know? So like I hope that everybody continues to ask themselves how they can deepen their relationship to themselves. And for every Hawaii I hope that every Hawaii can ask themselves, how can I deepen my relationship to my Hawaii? Not just my land, but the people that I come from, the names of my kupuna. How can I deepen my relationship to myself as a Hawaii? Like, this is the opening of that conversation. And then, how can I, with a foundation that is rooted in my land and the people I come from, how can I contribute to the sustainability of that greatness? You know, so this is not a closing for me or for us. This is just us being open to those questions. I really mahalo you for opening this space. It's
All right,
really
thank you,
important,
bro.
and like we gotta keep in touch. Everybody follow me on Instagram. Like, I'm like,
No, totally, bro.
like-
I'm definitely tagging you guys, and yeah, good. I learned something. I learned a few things actually. So thank you guys for that.
Mahalo.
No, it's my ka-imaha for
Yeah.
having us. Yep.
You have any
Um,
closing, Manao?
Nah, no.
Go ahead.
Well, my thing is, thank you guys for tuning into the Round Block podcast, where we like to talk to people instead of talking about them. So thank you guys so much.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.